Hello everyone, and welcome. Today we have this little beauty. This is going to be what I'm calling the Rancher Retirement House. Now, there is a reason that I am building this house. So, for my 100 Horses series, we have progressed to the point where my heir is just about to age up to a young adult, which means that the mama she gets to retire, which is pretty awesome. So, obviously, I needed somewhere for her to retire to. So I thought, well, I'm going to build her a nice little house in the place where she lives, which is Chestnut Ridge. It took me a second to think of the name. And yeah, so I'm just building this for her. So the whole idea behind this build was she wants to get away from the ranch. She's kind of over the horses and she wants a break from the horses. She can go and visit her son, and if she wants to go riding and see the horses and, do her ranchy things, she can actually go to the ranch and see her son. She's kind of over the whole horses thing. She wants a break from it. She's getting a bit old and, the bones are a bit achy, and so horse riding's not so easy anymore. So it kind of breaks her heart to be around the horses all the time. So I decided not to build a stable for for her retirement house, but she was doing the nectar making aspiration and she hasn't quite finished it. So I thought, well, you know what, we could still make this nectar making friendly so that she can maybe finish her aspiration during her retirement. So this house is going to actually have a nectar room and office. It's not going to have like a heap of space for growing plants so much. Like there's a little bit of plant space, but not heaps and heaps. So it's not like designed as a big garden lot or anything like that for nectar making. But it does have a nice little nectar making office and some nice retirement facilities. So, she can settle down and retire with her loved one and just, live out her peaceful Sims life. And that's kind of the idea behind the Rancher Retirement Home. And that's what we're building right now. So I've done a bit of the landscaping. I'm just kind of working that out. I'm just working on the roof at the moment and how I want that to sit. So just we tutor around with that, having a play around. I did have the idea that I wanted to have a porch, a balcony, a veranda, whatever you want to call it, up the top there. So I'm just adding the railings up the top, and I think I'm going to have a roof down the side, but another nice porch around the back. Because I wanted there to be a nice amount of porch space for her to get outside, because she's still very much an outdoorsy person, but just getting a little bit away from the horses now. So I'm just adjusting and fiddling around with the landscaping at this point. But I just wanted to keep it fairly simple, but also realistic to the world for the landscaping. So that's why I'm adding in the dry grass, because it is still Chestnut Ridge and it is still fairly dry in places. So I did add that element to the build rather than doing all the pretty flowers and stuff. I just sort of felt like the dry grass and the bushes, sort of the mix of the green and the sort of the drier element kind of worked for the area. Then I realized I forgot to leave space for the door. It's like, oops. Because the other space that I've left there, it's actually for a chair. So I had that plan for a chair, but I completely forgot about putting the door in. And you know what? Houses aren't particularly functional without a front door, so I've discovered. It's a mad little building tip for you guys. Remember the front door. So as you can see here, the garden's sort of coming together. I'm skipping over little bits of the landscaping because, it does get a little repetitive. You're just sort of placing stuff down. But I'm adding in some of the horse ranch rocks. So that in that deserty sort of brownish colour, because it does suit the area and the landscape. And once again, I'm just putting in sort of the bushes and a little bits of the dry grass as well. Just keep it pretty similar throughout the landscaping, because I think that makes sense. And I had a little window, window garden kind of thing going on there. Oh, and I'm still going to lift it up and add the foundation, because I try to do the landscaping these days before I put the foundation up. I don't always remember, but I do try. And because that way, then when I lift it up, then I don't have any bumping issues when I go to do the landscaping. which is quite handy. So I decided to do quite a monochrome colour for this house. So it's very black and white, which is probably a little bit different from some of the houses that are in Chestnut Ridge. Although I think there is like a black and white kind of themed house in one of the pre-builds, actually. I think. It's been a while since I've looked at them, but I think so. So, you know, not wholly out of place in the Chestnut Ridge area. Also, I did want to make it modern, but kind of like modern ranch, not modern, if you know what I mean. So it's still going to have like a little bit of the rustic touches, and that was kind of the idea. I mean, that sort of fits the area and stuff. But yeah, keeping it pretty simple as far as the colours go. Blacks and whites, and I can't actually remember what I did as far as the windows and the doors go. I think maybe I'll probably go horse ranch on that one. I actually think this might be a limited pack build. You know what, guys? It is. I completely forgot. I'm just looking at this and I'm like, I just did this horse ranch and base game, so this is a completely limited pack build as well. Well, that was nice of me, wasn't it? There we go. Helping people out who don't have all the packs. So if you want to download it from the gallery, it's VelvettB on the gallery, and you can download it from there, or I will put it up on my Patreon at some point as all of my Patreon builds are free at this point in time, to just go in there and download and, you know, do trade files. I'm not doing anything too fancy on Patreon right now because I don't know how. But that's fine. I'll work these things out. Anyway, yes, so I'm using a horse ranch windows, horse ranch doors, and yeah, I completely forgot this was a limited pack build, so that's very cool. It looked really nice for a limited pack build. There you go. You can do all sorts of things. Oh, this is when I realised that I could stack the windows and that would look so much better. So I'm about to go through and do a lot of window stacking. Because I kind of wanted to have, like a more modern look. And by stacking the windows, it sort of creates a lot more of the natural light. And it is very, with the contemporary and the modern styles, it is very on point to have the larger windows with a lot more of the natural light coming through. So yes, that definitely suits the contemporary kind of vibe I'm going for. It's sort of like a contemporary rustic, sort of ranchy kind of thing. You know, that's what I was going for. So I just added a back fence as well, back gate, because I thought, you know, they might want to go out the back gate and go out there and do some things. So just doing some little bits and pieces on the top veranda area. So doing the rocking chairs and the chest and some flowers and some lights, adding more lights around the place because you always need a few lights. It's always nice to be able to, you know, see a little bit when you go outside at night time. I've just used the herringbone tile from Base Game. That is the tile that I've used there. I'm just dotting around some of the garden stuff at the moment so that, you know, you can plant a few little bits and pieces of garden stuff in there for the nectar making. And just adding in the little pool area because, you know what, if I'm going to retire and I've got the money to retire, then I'm going to have a pool because I like swimming. And it's convenient to have a pool at your house so you don't have to go elsewhere and share it with people. Ugh. You know? Sometimes you kind of go to public pools. This might be gross, but you go to public pools and you know, sometimes you just think, am I swimming in people soup? Like, you know, you're just swimming around. And I know they have the chlorine and all these other things just to keep it, you know, as clean as they possibly could in there. But still, sometimes it just feels like, you know, there's heaps of people in it and it's all crowded and it's just like, oh, people soup. That's what I always think about, like, spa pools as well. It's just like you're just sitting there boiling in people's soup. It's and I like spa pools because they're nice, because they're warm and they like relax your muscles. But then, like, my brain is like people soup, and you're like, oh, I don't want to anymore. Oh, I don't know. Anyway, I got distracted. We've done with the outside and we are heading inside. I'm just trying to work out where the stairs are going to go. I end up deciding to do it down the back there because I'm actually going to I end up moving them. Yeah, I was going to say I moved them out a little bit because I create that room at the back there that I just created. That's going to be our nectar office. And having the stairs sort of back onto those actually ended up making a lot of sense as far as the layout goes. Sorry, I'm just still thinking about people soup. This is a little insight into my brain. Anyway, so just working out the floor plan. So I think this is, oh gosh, I'm so bad at remembering. Because sometimes when I'm in a real building mode, I'm building a lot and then I get things muddled in my head as to how many bedrooms and stuff. So this is a 2-bedroom, 4-bathroom, looking at it. So there's a bathroom that is off from the Nectar office. There's another bathroom downstairs in the corner. And then there's 2 en-suites upstairs, I think. Yes, and then the 2 bedrooms upstairs. Yes. So that's right. So 2 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms. So there's like kind of an office bathroom and a guest bathroom downstairs, and then you've got the en-suites upstairs for the 2 bedrooms. So that is what I ended up doing in that house. You know, it just takes a little jogging of the old memory, you know, sometimes. And you know what? I don't know that I've used this wallpaper much with Horse Ranch. And it's actually been a while since I've built in Horse Ranch as well. In Horse Ranch and Chestnut Ridge. I think probably the last time I built was actually for the 100 Horses series when we rebuilt the house that they're living on where the ranch is. I don't think I've done too much since, because, you know, when Horse Ranch first came out, I did a lot of ranch building, because it turned out I was actually quite good at building ranches. So I was like, oh, I like this. You know, you're good at something and you don't realize that you're good at it, and you're like, oh, I'm going to keep doing this. So I did quite a few ranches when Horse Ranch came out, and then you know, inevitably I got sick of it. So so then I didn't do any ranches for a while. But I am still playing the 100 Horses series. So yeah, I am still mucking around with the horses and Chestnut Ridge and that sort of thing. So I haven't fully left it behind, but it has been a while since off on my own violation that I've done a ranch build. I guess I didn't have to do this build. I could have just moved her into one of the into the existing pre-builds. But, you know, if you are a builder and you can, why wouldn't you? I mean, I would like to think I treat my characters nicely and give them a nice house to live. Although, you know what, I think the builds that we got, the pre-builds that we got with the Horse Ranch series were really good. They were built by YouTubers, which is probably why they are better than some of the other builds that we've had in the past. So that, like, Sam Sequoia and Horse Ranch were both done by YouTubers. I think For Rent must have been as well. Yeah, I'd say For Rent would have been. I'm not too sure who did the For Rent ones. And Mount Kamarabi, the Snowy Escape, that was by YouTubers as well. So, yeah, there's been quite a few pre-builds that have been done by YouTubers now, which is good because they're so much better than the ones that the Sims team do. Sorry, Sims team, but it's true. I mean, I know they've sort of updated some of the builds in some of the older worlds, but some of the old builds were just atrocious. And there's still some really bad builds out there. There's like, there's that one that's in Realm of Magic, and it's like got a staircase to nowhere, and I think like there's one with an empty room, and it's just like, anyway. So in terms of the theme on the inside, I'm just going with whites and blues for the most part, as far as the furnishings go, because I just wanted to do something a bit, because we've got like a lot of brown when it comes to the walls and the flooring, obviously, because, you know, we're all about the wood when we're building in a sort of a ranchy, rustic sort of vibe. So I wanted to break away from the browns and bring in a contrast color or two. So I went with whites and blues just because it worked nicely and I thought it looked nice. So yeah. I also really liked the chairs and the couches that we get with a Horse Ranch, so that worked really nicely. There's actually quite a bit as far as the whites and the blues and that sort of thing that come from a Horse Ranch that worked really nicely, so I was happy with that. Now, I didn't spare any expense with this build. Like, I didn't have a budget, so I just went for it because I figure, you know, she can... Although she doesn't have like heaps and heaps of money, but we can probably make some money pretty quickly because she's got some nectar bottles coming in that are ready to be aged up. So I think she's got a little bit of cash coming her way. So if we need cash, we can just sell some nectar stuff. Oh, and I really liked this in the kitchen. I thought about putting the hutch. I think that it'll be a horse ranch hutch, but I'm not sure which hutch it is. But yeah, I saw this hutch and I was like, ooh, I wonder if I can add this into the kitchen somehow. So I worked it out. I could put it, was able to put it in the middle there just to mix it up and make it, just a little bit different in there. And the whole out of the box storage is very in for this year. So using like different items, storage options, that sort of thing to create your storage is very in for this year. So, just mixing it up a little bit. And yeah, as I said, I'm not sparing any expense because I'm using the Schmappel oven and the Schmappel fridge. So, although a lot of the horse ranch stuff is pretty cheap, so it is kind of the lower scale of the price items for the most part. So I don't think this was like a particularly expensive house all up by the time it was done. I was just adding in a few expensive things. Because I think I put in an expensive computer as well. But yeah, like things like your fixtures and stuff, they are generally pretty cheap because the horse ranch stuff is pretty cheap. And this is only base game and horse ranch, so I didn't have many options as far as the furnishings and stuff went. Oh, you know what? By the way, I completely forgot about that bathroom behind there. Like I finished recording and I was taking the photos and then I was like, oh my God, I forgot that bathroom in behind there entirely. So you guys won't see me build that out at all because I'd finished recording and stuff and I was just taking the photos like, oh no, I forgot because I didn't put the door in. And that's why. It's because I didn't put the door in to the bathroom. So when I was going through and just doing the build, it just got completely missed. Oh, silly me. Anyway, so I missed the big bathroom downstairs. Yups. But I did remember the other 3 bathrooms. So I did something similar, I think, in the larger bathroom. Oh man, just sometimes you just forget these things. I don't know how many people often forget like whole bathrooms. It's not the first time I've done it. I think I forgot another bathroom fairly recently as well. Oh, just shocking. But just sometimes you just miss things like stairs. That's another thing that can be easily missed. It occurred to me that having the nectar storage in the kitchen would probably be a good idea as well because that's an obvious place for it. Now, just getting towards the end of the kitchen, I think that's come together nicely. We've got the bits and pieces with the clutter. And, I mean, there's actually quite a nice amount of clutter between base game and horse ranch. Yeah, I actually wasn't dissatisfied with the amount of clutter that we had, considering it's 2 packs. I mean, base game, you actually do get a decent amount of clutter for the kitchen. But then with horse ranch, you get a few bits and pieces as well. So that just sort of mixes it up a little bit, which is quite nice. So, yeah, I was quite happy with the amount of clutter I had. Oh yeah, that's right. I was like thinking, well, nectar making, I should put in the nectar bottles, not the wine bottles, the nectar bottles, because we don't say it's wine because that implies alcohol. So I thought, well, I'll put those up on that shelf and that can be like a mini wine rack, and kaboom, that sort of ties in with the old nectar making theme. And just the base game rug in the blue, and then I'm using the horse ranch rug in the darker blue. So just using a little bit of the darker blue in that room as well. So this is going to be our nectar making office right here. So I'm just going to throw that in there. But I do a few little, little bits and pieces in here just to make it, a nice little office. So, do your desk and chair and computer. So I gave them the, really nice expensive 10,000 simoleon computer. So, between 3 items in this house, that's probably about half the value of the house. Oh yeah, and I forgot the door to the nectar making office as well. I had a mare with the doors. Anyway, at least I remembered them when I was making it. I was like, oh no, I forgot the door. Unlike the other poor bathroom, which got forgotten entirely. So just going through and just seeing what I think would, work in this room. I was kind of thinking, nectar making kind of hobby, hangout, kind of chill area. Maybe they sit there and they play the guitar while they're waiting for their nectar to age, just chilling out, having a good time. And that was kind of the vibe I was going for in that little office, because they are retired. There's not a rush, it's not urgent that they get all this done. They don't have deadlines. They're retired. So, yeah, why not have a chill time and just enjoy the process? That's the whole idea. And I'm just going to put like a nice easy squeezy bathroom in here because I've discovered that you actually get really dirty with nectar making, which makes sense when you think about it, because you're jumping around in a pile of sticky fruit juice of some variety. So, yeah, getting dirty while nectar making absolutely makes sense to me anyway. So having a bathroom off a nectar making office makes also sense to me, because you're going to get all dirty. You can just whip into the bathroom next door, clean off before you go off into the rest of the house, so you're not getting sticky, juicy bits all over the place. When you're walking through the house to get to the bathroom, you don't have to walk through the house to get to the bathroom. You just go to the bathroom. Ta-da! Done. So yeah, there wasn't too much to this bathroom. It's just the basics. Just tried to make it like, a little bit comfortable and add some nice little bits and pieces to the room and that. But the bathrooms upstairs are pretty small. So the largest bathroom was the downstairs bathroom, which I forgot. But I have since, as I said, I have since decorated it. So it will go up onto the gallery with a bathroom. I noticed it afterwards. Not too far, It's not like I got to the editing stage of the video and then realised I'd forgotten it, which is what happened last time, I think. Oh dear. Anyway, so just keeping it pretty simple in these ensuite bathrooms. I mean, just a shower, toilet, that sort of thing. Oh, and I put a fireplace in upstairs as well. I did contemplate putting a large one in, but it was just way too large, and I thought that smaller one kind of fit better there, and it was kind of cuter. It's just gonna be a cute little upstairs sort of lounge-ish kind of space. So, in the cold winter evenings, you might mosey on upstairs, sit by the fire together, and have a cup of tea, chill out. That's the idea. That sounds quite lovely, actually. Except maybe the tea part, because I don't drink tea, but a nice mug of hot chocolate with marshmallows by a cozy fire, maybe a blanket over your lap and a nice book in your hands. See, look, books. Yay. That would be great. I'd love that. Oh, nice and cozy. Winter is coming in New Zealand, because we are in the southern hemisphere, so we're on our way towards winter. We are in autumn at the moment, so getting towards the colder weather. It's actually quite sunny today, but the wind is really cold. And it's a nice day, but it is chilly. A little bit cold. I did like a custom bookshelf because, I don't know, I think I didn't like the options for the bookshelves that we had. They weren't fitting right, or I don't know what. I just decided just to make my own bookshelf. Sometimes I do that. I don't know. Why not? No harm. And it looks fine. It does the job. And it fills in the blanks there, just like, you do your own custom little thing. It's fine. And they are book lovers. So, book lovers, nectar makers. These are the people that are going into this home. So, when you're retired, surely you want to be slowing down and reading lots of books. And that's what I want to do when I'm retired. I'll read lots. I still read now, but not as much as I used to, which I think is a shame. I used to read, I don't know, a book a day. Sometimes, or a book every couple of days, and whereas now I'm just sort of reading now and then when I'm still not so tired in the evenings. If I'm don't fall into bed exhausted, it's like I can read for a little bit. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the bedrooms. So I got some curtains going in there. I actually don't know if I've ever used these curtains, but I saw them and I was like, you know what, they're going to do the trick nicely. Oh, and we haven't done the ensuite over there either. Oops. Okay, well, I guess we better get that underway. So this is a little bit, I guess, bigger than the other one because it has that little corner for the shower. So there is a little bit more space in this one, so we can probably fit counters if we want to, or as I went with, some shelving and some plants. Because why not? It's actually nice to have some bathroom shelving in the bathroom because, you can see the towels and the little doodads and stuff in there, or the little bits and pieces, which I think is cool. It just adds a little bit of authenticity to the room, if you know what I mean. And that's why you add clutter to the house as well. It's just all about that authenticity kind of factor, really. There wasn't space for the towels to hang, so I did the folded towels. if you're wondering why I did that. Oh, and I needed a painting for over there because, of course, I'm doing a horse ranch and base game only. It was a bit painful with the artwork. I mean, even with the full amount of stuff that we get with all of the packs, all the artwork, I still even struggle there a lot of the time because I'm fussy with artwork, I think. That's probably 90% of the problem. But there is some pretty naff or pretty ugly artwork in The Sims 4. Like, the bright purple saxophonist. Oh, no. I'm sure it has a time and place in the world, but 99.9% of the time it's not in anything I'm building. Such is life. Like, it might work in a nightclub or something, I guess. You know, there's probably places you can get away with it, but as I said, 99.9% of the time, nothing I'm building has a purple saxophonist vibe to it. Just very specific vibe, that. Okay, and now we're on to the last bedroom, so we're getting towards the end of the build. So I'm using the horse ranch beds, obviously, the horse ranch side tables, the horse ranch lamps, the horse ranch picture. So, I mean, you know, if you're going to do a pack specific limited pack build like horse ranch and base game, I mean, you know, you're going to go heavy as heavy as you can on the additional pack, particularly if it's a large pack like the horse ranch pack and you've got lots of items to choose from. You know, you're just going to use them. Why wouldn't you? So I'm using that with all of the dresser stuff, you know, with the mirror, the hanging rack and the closed dresser and the open sort of dresser, the couch, the picture. I mean, this is pretty much all horse ranch, really. I'm sure the rug will probably be horse ranch as well. I just decided to make this picture, I guess I just wanted to give it like a mini frame is kind of the idea there. I couldn't do like the downsides because it isn't, yeah. There's not a lot to do the downsides with in the debug that I had. I didn't check. I just like, yeah, we'll just do 2 sides frame. It'll be fine. Okay, so that is our build. This is what we've ended up with here, which I think is really cute. Like, I didn't want to do anything too huge because it's only going to be 2 of them rattling around the house. And it just seemed a bit silly to go, you know, super large. And as I said, I didn't want to have horses. Wanted to get away from the horses for retirement. So, yeah, I think this would be super nice to retire in Chestnut Ridge. I wouldn't mind that at all. And I do like the black and white. I think that does suit the area quite nicely, actually. So moving inside, we've got all our bits and pieces there. And going through to the living area, so you can see it's sort of white and blues, and then that carries through to the kitchen area as well. Into our lovely kitchen with the hutch in the middle, which I'm very proud of. I like that little hutch in the middle idea. I think that's very cool. And then going through to the nectar making office, you can sort of see there some more of the white and blue coming through there, and the cool guitar that you got for pre-ordering, I believe, or for early purchase, whatever. So that's the downstairs nectar. Oh, this is the large bathroom downstairs, I think. And that's through the lounge again. And then, okay, so here we are upstairs, and then that's a little fireplace area and the seating upstairs in the main shared space upstairs. And then going through to the first of the bedrooms. So use the sort of apricot with the blue, which I think worked really nicely, particularly with the other tones in the room. So yeah, I was quite happy with the colours in that. And then moving into the second bedroom where we went sort of more creamy and blues. So we've kept the blue theme throughout the build and just mixed it up a little bit in the bedrooms with that. All right, well, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.